Polite, or I'll vaporize you.
The oldest known god associated to Lucifer is the Egyptian god of the night, Kuk, the god of darkness, and was the partner of Ra's position as he strode across the sky in his chariot bearing the day. Kuk's position was as a counterpart to this, and brought forth the night in a synchronized pattern with Ra. The technical definitions by mortal standards are this.
Kuk was the god of the hours before dawn, and was known as bringer of the light, as he guided the sun barge of the god Ra toward the sky from the underworld. Khokhet, his feminine balance, was depicted as a woman with the head of a serpent, also called bringer of the darkness, who presided over the hours of twilight when the sun was setting and guided the sun barge into the underworld.
Haha, mortals. They think because a god does not adhere to a gender description that they must be both. No, it just means they were around before man was created, so there was no gender at that time. Kuk was around actually before Ra, and attended his position with Ra's father. Then Ra's father fell into the twilight of the gods and faded. Then his son Ra took up his duties. His father's name was Rajan Khmet, is the best translation by the human tongue's ability to speak. From this, the Egyptians had fashioned a small statue that represented Kuk, the god of darkness. It was a small statue made of obsidian, and in the shape of a serpent-headed figure holding a rod with a ray of light shining through it over a man on his knees in worship. The Norse tried to adapt this into their beliefs with the world's serpent tale, which was a story that was made into legend about their conquest over the Egyptians by their ancestors, who were commonly referred to as the Gaelic men of the north, the barbarians or giants, or the men from the sea in Egyptian legend, the tribe of Druhian from the Mahabharata tale of the Old War, and the 10 kingdoms who rose up against Sudas. Of those 10 kingdoms, the major adversary against Sudas were a tribe of pale-faced, Aboriginal fashion warriors called the Anu, who eventually migrated to the regions of Iran after the war ended. The Druhian, a tribe of crafters and builders by trade, migrated to the northwest to become the Norse or Gaelic, enemies of the Romans.
Now here is an interesting bit. Someone asked me how life came to be here on Earth. In a physical sense, not God's designed intentions, but the aspect of life itself. Whoever and however they did it. How did it happen here in reality?
Note the hint of sarcasm, but nevertheless I said,
Careful what you ask for. The material world is not the extent of existence. There is more than what you can see out there, but here you go.
Long ago, when this world was just a group of meteors floating too close together, there was a cosmic event. The asteroids in this area had smashed and fused together during the early cycles of the sun's formation. A solar flare of immense proportion caused by a gamma wave surge from the primordial beginning of expansion. This wave was saturated with gamma waves that caused a destabilization of physical molecules and them reforming into different patterns. A form of radiation exposure, basically. This passed through the Earth and reacted with the photon plasma core, causing it to flare up. When this gamma wave came in contact with the flare of photon energy that became trapped and fused inside the core of the Earth. This is common with every planetary object's formation, not including gas giants. This energy caused a reaction when they fused together that created a fungal type form of carbon-based replicating form that eventually evolved into the very origin of life on this world. The two fused aspects began the presence of vegetation, but the two fused aspects began to separate from each other. In this process, an electrical discharge began occurring, and this fused the path to conscious intelligence to begin to form from this division. Eventually forming from vegetation to raw minerals, to probiotic life forms, to the variety of sea life that eventually walked to land and developed lungs to breathe. That led to reptilian-like creatures that became the ecosystem of life's diversity here. How that fusion created so many individual species-based descendants, instead of a dominant mix of species to overwhelm them. Oh yes, humanity. Okay, never mind, there you go. Mankind is a fused byproduct of all the ancient life forms that existed from around 300 million years ago, fused together in a rapidly growing form of all the life from that time. When the Great Cataclysm, or the separation of Pangea, occurred, the Homo sapien genetics are not the same as the mammalian descendants, as they are but another one of many genetic traits that became fused from. other life that lived here then, even the dinosaurs. Mankind's peripheral vision is a trait that they adapted from the Tyrannosaurus rex. They are indigenous to this planet, and are the current apex predator that is the dominant species of life here. Does this answer your question? I asked with a hint of foreboding towards asking any more questions. I then explained this whole outline was an observed situation simulated with magic. I will have to end this for now as I feel that an obstacle has been set in place, distorting my writings again.
I wonder what happened to some ridiculous talking mice when you're driving by at 75 miles an hour?
What are you talking about? There's no road past Toontown.
Not yet. Several months ago, I had the good providence to stumble upon this plan of the city councils. A construction plan of epic proportions. They're calling it a freeway. Freeway? What the hell's a freeway? 8 lanes of shimmering cement running from here to Pasadena. Smooth, safe, fast. Traffic jams will be a thing of the past.
So that's why you killed Acme and Maroon? For this freeway?
I don't get it. Of course not. You lack vision. But I see a place where people get on and off the freeway. On and off and on, all day, all night. Soon, where Toontown once stood will be a string of gas stations, inexpensive motels, restaurants that serve rapidly prepared food, tire salons, automobile dealerships, and wonderful, wonderful billboards reaching as far as the eye can see. My God, it'll be beautiful.
Come on. Nobody's gonna drive this lousy freeway when they can take the red car for a nickel.
Oh, they'll drive. They'll have to. You see, I bought the red car so I could dismantle it.